Yes, good morning, my dear students. A tiger in the house. We were reading this chapter, and from that reading, what we have come to know that grandfather found a tiger cub. Okay, its size was very much small, only you can say 18 inches. Okay, so he found it from one of the jungle. Okay, and the name of the jungle is given Terai jungle. He went there for hunting and there he found it. He brought it to his house and he kept that tiger as a pet in his house. But with the passage of time, what was going on, he also gave him two companions, Toto, a monkey, and another. What was that companion? What was another companion? You all are listening me or not? Type in chat box. Toto, one monkey was given to him, and next was puppy. Yes, and what was the name of that puppy? Only Drishti has tried. What was the name of that puppy which was given to him as a companion? Hurry up, type in chat box. Its name starts with M. Yes, mongrel. Okay. But when grandfather's grandson, narrator, he came to live in that place, so he found that tiger cub, he really played well and he considered him as his good companion. Okay. Now the problem was occurring that now the size of tiger cub, it was increasing slowly and gradually, and now its size was equal to the size of one fully grown dog. Okay, so when grandfather used to take him for a walk, people on the way, they were afraid of that tiger because they were so afraid to see the tiger is on a walk. Okay, so they just keep themselves away from that animal, so it was natural. Okay, so after that we were doing comprehension check, so all of you get ready. We have done this A part, and yes, second part was also discussed. Now we are going to do second part of the chapter, so all of you get ready. In first passage of the chapter, we have come to know only about this thing. Now get ready for the second part of the chapter. Okay, so I'm giving a chance to Lakshay. Okay, Lakshay, you will read One of These Days.
Okay, ma'am. One of these days, declared grandmother in her prophetic manner, we are going to find Timothy sitting on Muhammad's bed and no sign of cook except his clothes and shoes. Of course, it never came to that, but when Timothy was about of 6 months old, a change came over him. He grew steadily less friendly. When out of work with me, he would try to steal away to stalk a cat or someone's pet dog. Sometime at night, we would hear frenzied
Yes.
frenzied cackling from the poultry house, and in the morning there would be feathers lying all over the veranda. Timothy had to be chained up more often, and finally, when he began to stalk Muhammad about the house with what looked like villainous intent, grandfather decided it was time to transfer him to the zoo.
Okay, now in this text, what we have come to know, now grandmother declared this thing and she spoke like a prophetic manner. Prophetic manner means like a prophet. Okay, as a prophet speak. Okay, so bache write down the meaning of prophet. Prophet means like a prophetic manner. Prophetic manner means like a prophet. It means he was doing forecasting. Okay, like doing forecasting. Okay. So she was doing like a forecasting that this will happen in future. Okay, so she did this forecasting. She declared that now we are going to find Timothy sitting on Muhammad's bed and no sign of the cook except his clothes and shoes. Okay, so what kind of prophetic wall, what kind of, you can say, forecasting was done? Because where he used to sleep, where that tiger used to sleep, that tiger used to sleep in the house of, sorry, tiger used to sleep in kitchen. Okay, so tiger was sleeping in kitchen, okay, along with Muhammad. Okay, and grandmother, you can say, declared this thing that one day you will find that this Timothy would be found on the bed of cook. Okay, only we will be able to find out his clothes and Muhammad would not be there. What is the meaning of this line, that Muhammad would not be there? जो prophetic manner में वो बोल रही थी grandmother, can anybody explain कि वो ऐसा बोल रही थी कि now we will be able to find out only Muhammad's clothes there, Muhammad will not be found there? What is the exact meaning of this line? Can anybody tell? Raise your hand. Arshia has written very nice. Jalashwil has written very nice. Yes, it means that Muhammad would be killed by a tiger, because now the tiger was growing bigger and bigger in size. He was growing in proper tiger. Earlier it was a cub. So that's why there is a lot of harm because of that animal. So that's why this forecasting was done by grandmother. Okay, she gave a warning that we should take some step, otherwise one day he will kill that cook with whom he was sleeping. Now, one thing was more noticed, that when Timothy was here about 6 months old, there was a change in him. Okay, because now with the passage of time, when he was growing old and old, he was becoming less friendly. Okay, and whenever he used to go for a walk, okay, and he used to steal away, okay, and he used to, you can say, go after stalk. Stalk means move. Here a stock word is given. Here a stock word is given. So write down the meaning of stalk. Stalk means move secretly. Move secretly. So it used to move secretly after a cat or someone's pet dog. Okay. And sometimes at night we would hear frenzied. So write down the meaning of frenzied. Furious. Furious, or you can say angry. Okay. So bachche, mark these words also in your books, only then you will be able to understand the text. Okay, so sometime very furious, very angry sounds from the poultry house were also listened. Okay, and in morning what was found in that place? Only feathers. They were lying all over the veranda. So poultry is a place, poultry house, where you can say hen, etc. are kept. Okay, now what was the decision which was taken? Now Timothy had to be chained up more often. It means now the time was that Timothy was not kept open, he was kept in chains. Okay, because finally it started to stalk Muhammad about the house with what looked like villainous intent. So you can say, Muhammad, when he began to stalk, it means finally when it was noticed that when they were moving behind Muhammad in the house, okay, and it was seeming that Muhammad was behaving just like a villainous intent, मतलब उसकी जो wish थी, it was just like a villain, मतलब मोहम्मद को villain consider कर दिया. Why so? Because tiger did not like it all. Okay, so they thought that the life of Muhammad was in risk because Tiger and Muhammad did not like each other. So at any time, Muhammad's life could be in danger. So that's why what decision was taken. The decision was, what was the decision? Sorry. What was the decision? The decision was that he should be transferred to a zoo. Okay. So for taking that action, what did he do? Okay. Now read from there. Reserving a first class compartment. Okay, Himanshi, you read. Reserving a first class compartment.
Yes. Reserving a first-class compartment for himself and Timothy. No one would share a compartment with them. Grandfather took him to Lucknow, where the zoo authorities were only too glad to receive as a gift as well-fed and fairly civilized tiger. About 6 months later, when my grandparents were visiting relatives in Lucknow, grandfather took the opportunity of calling at the zoo to see how Timothy was getting on. I was not there to accompany him, but I heard all about it when I returned to there.
Okay. Now what action was taken by grandfather? Grandfather got first class compartment seat reserved for himself and for Timothy also, because this compartment was not going to be shared with anyone. So grandfather finally took that tiger to Lucknow, and where zoo authorities were so happy to receive as a gift. Okay, because this tiger was well fed. Okay, okay, and this was well civilized. Well civilized means very much well mannered tiger. Okay, so he handed over that tiger cub to the zoo authorities. So now afterwards, 6 months later, when grandparents were visiting relatives in Lucknow, okay, so they thought that they should go in zoo and to see that how Timothy was getting on. Okay, so I was not there to accompany. It means narrator did not accompany his grandfather. Okay, but he heard all about the things what happened basically in Dehra in that zoo. Okay, so when he arrived at zoo, what happened there? Grandfather, as soon as he arrived in the zoo, so he went straight into that particular cage in which Timothy was interned. Timothy was interned. What is the meaning of interned? It means where Timothy was shut in. So, bachche, write down the meaning of interned. Interned means where Timothy was shut in. So write down meaning of this. So he is simply there where Timothy was shut in, okay, kept. Okay, so there was one tiger, and this tiger was, you can say, sitting there, crouched. Crouched means it was sitting there. So write down the meaning of crouched also. Bending over. So one of the tiger was, you can say, sitting, bending over in a corner, and its size was full grown, and there was, you can say, magnificent. Magnificent means very fine striped coat. Striped coat means on its body there were stripes. Okay. So when grandfather saw that tiger, he said, "Hello, Timothy," and he put his arm through the bars of the cage. What are the bars of the cage? You can say the lines of the cage. Okay, so he called that tiger in a very nice way by speaking like that, "Hello, Timothy." So this was a dialect spoken by a grandfather. In this way, he put his arm through the bars of the cage. Okay, afterwards, what happened? Now you should be very much curious to know Afterwards, what happened? The tiger approached the bars. So when name was called, one of the tiger, it came there. Okay, Arshia, you read from there. The tiger approached the bars.
Yes, ma'am. The tiger approached the bars and allowed grandfather to put both his hands around his head. Grandfather stroked the tiger's forehead and tickled his ears, and whenever he growled, smacked him across the mouth, which was his old way of keeping him quiet.
Okay, so when tiger finally approached the bars, it came very near to the bars. So it allowed grandfather so that grandfather can put both of it hands around his head. Okay, and he started stroking. Stroking means tapping gently. Okay, so here stroking word is not given. But you write down only, then you'll be able to understand the text. So write down stroke means to tap, gently. So he started tapping gently that tiger forehead, and he was tickling his ears. Okay, it means he was giving him tickling, okay, on his ears. So because whenever he used to growl, okay, and in order to make him pacify, he used to smack across his mouth. Smack means to hit very lightly, very softly. Okay, and this was the old way to make him quiet. It means when the tiger was making sound, such he was growling, so this was the way to make him silent. So this way was adopted by grandfather. Okay, he started giving him love on his forehead. He was tickling his ears, and whenever he was making sounds, growling like that, so he was just giving him a light hit like this. Okay, like this on his mouth. So this was a way to make him quiet. So such gestures were going between tiger and grandfather at that time. And this thing was told to narrator. You can see in the picture. Okay. So after that, what was going on? He licked grandfather's hand. So Drishti, you read from there. He licked grandfather's hands.
He licked grandfather's hands and only sprang away when a leopard in the next
Leopard. Listen. Its pronunciation is leopard. All of you speak this word 5 times. It is leopard. 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 Speak Drishti 5 times.
Leopard, 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 leopard.
Okay. Others also listen and pronounce this word correctly. Okay. Now speak, beta.
Leopard in the next cage snarled at him. Grandfather shooed the leopard away and the tiger returned to lick his hands. But every now and then the leopard would rush at the bars and he would fling back to his corner. A number of people had gathered to watch the reunion. When the reunion.
Wait, it is reunion. Reunion. Speak it 5 times.
Reunion, 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 reunion.
Okay.
To watch the reunion, when the keeper pushed his way through the crowd and asked grandfather what he was doing.
Okay, now what scene was going on? He was just licking. Licking means to touch with the tongue. Okay, so bache write down the meaning of licking. Lick means to touch with tongue. So he started, you can say, touching that grandfather's hand with his tongue, and he was just springing away only when the other leopards in other cages, they were snarling at him. Okay, it means they were creating sound, that what scene was going on. So grandfather should means kicked or scared. So write down the meaning of should. Kicked or scared. So when this action was going on, other were making sounds, other animals were making sounds. So grandfather shooed the leopard away. It means it was kicking him, it was making him scared, and the tiger was again coming back and he started licking the hands of grandfather. Okay, so every time leopard was rushing near the bars, okay, and he was scolded badly to go back to his corner. Okay, slink back. Slink back means slip back. It means whenever this process was going on, this action was going on, incident was going on, every time leopard started coming near to them, and grandfather shooed him away, scolded him, kicked him, scared him away, and every time this scene was going on, and they both were in love with each other, grandfather and that tiger. Okay, so when such kind of scene was going on, you just imagine in your mind, if in front of you such kind of scene would be going on, that one human being and one tiger, fully grown tiger, they are loving each other in this way, will you be get surprised or not? Will you be surprised or not? Tell me. Show me thumbs up if you'll be surprised or not. Yes, anybody can get surprised. So what was the scene after that, when there was you can say reunion of a tiger and a human being? People gathered there to see that scene. So zookeeper is means a person that is appointed to look after zoo. Okay, so when zookeeper pushed all his way through the crowd, तो उसने crowd में से अपना रास्ता बनाया, and he asked grandfather what was he doing, because there was a lot of rush. Okay, so so he asked him, what are you doing there, tell me. So what was the response of grandfather? You'll be surprised to know. So the scene was that okay, Arshia, you read.
I'm talking to Timothy, said grandfather. Weren't you here when I gave him to the zoo 6 months ago? I haven't been here very long, said the surprised keeper. Please continue your conversation, but I have never been able to touch him myself. He is always very bad-tempered. Why don't you put him somewhere else? Suggested grandfather. The leopard keeps frightening him. I'll go and see the superintendent about it.
Okay, so when zookeeper came there, he asked me that what are you doing there. So after that, grandfather replied that he was talking to Timothy. Okay, so he told him that you were not there 6 months ago. I gave one of the tiger there, at that time you were not there. So zookeeper, he got so much surprised, and he said, yes, I was not there for I have not been there for such a long period of time, but you just continue your conversation. It means whatever you want to say, you continue it. Okay, because I have tried my level best to keep in touch with this tiger, but I am so surprised because this tiger is very much bad tempered. This tiger always gets angry too much. So grandfather gave him a suggestion: if it is short tempered, if it is a bad tempered, why don't you keep it separate? Okay, in another cage. So what was the answer of zookeeper? That if we keep it in another cage, the leopard sometimes frightens him. Okay, so that's why I'm going to discuss about this matter to superintendent, that where to keep this tiger, because it is very much short tempered. Okay, so up to that chapter is clear. Now there is a twist in the chapter. You will be very much surprised. You will be shocked to know actually what happened. It is really a shocking thing. You will get like a shock. Okay, now listen what happens. Now Khushi, you read further. Khushi, you read further.
Grandfather went in search of the superintendent of the zoo, but found that he had gone home early, and so after wandering about the zoo For a little while, he returned to Timothy's cage to say goodbye. It was beginning to get dark. He had been stroking and slapping Timothy for about 5 minutes when he found another keeper observing him with some alarm. Grandfather recognized him as the keeper who had been there when Timothy had first came to the zoo.
Read further also.
You remember me, said grandfather. Now why don't you transfer Timothy to another cage away from this stupid leopard? But sir, stammered the keeper, it's not your tiger.
Okay.
I know, said grandfather. I realized he is no longer mine, but you might at least take. I remember your tiger very well, said the keeper. He died 2 months ago. Died, exclaimed grandfather. Yes, sir, of phenomena. The tiger was
Pneumonia.
trapped in the
Wait. Its pronunciation is pneumonia. How do we pronounce this word? We say it
pneumonia.
pneumonia. P is silent here.
Pneumonia.
Speak it 5 times.
Pneumonia, 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 pneumonia.
Okay. Now you read further.
That this tiger was trapped in the hills only last month and he is very dangerous. Grandfather could think of nothing to say. The tiger was still licking his arm with increasing relish. Grandfather took
It is
what
not
seemed to
relish.
him and
It is relish. Speak it 5 times. It is relish.
relish, 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 relish. Grandfather took what seemed to him an age to withdraw his hand from the cage. With his face near the tiger's, he murmured, "Good night, Timothy," and giving the keeper a scornful look, walked briskly out of the zoo.
Okay. Now what happened? What scene was going on? And what scene was going on? That grandfather was thinking that he was very much near. He was loving his Timothy, which was given in the zoo. You can say some months ago, 6 months ago. So grandfather, he went in search of superintendent because he wanted to give him instruction that Timothy should be kept in another cage. Okay, so but uh, found that superintendent was not in his office. He has gone to his home little bit early. Okay, and he thought that he should wander about the zoo for a little while. Okay, so when finally he returned to Timothy's cage and he wanted to say him final goodbye, so it was about to get dark. It was getting dark. It means the night was falling near and near. Okay, so he started stalking. He started slapping Timothy. Okay, for about 5 minutes, and by the time another zookeeper came and he was observing him. Okay, so grandfather recognized that this was the same zookeeper to whom he handed his Timothy 6 months ago. It was same zookeeper. Okay, so grandfather said, "You remember me? Okay, that I have given my tiger to you 6 months ago. Okay, so why don't you transfer Timothy to another cage? Okay, and this stupid leopard is disturbing him a lot. You should keep him away from this stupid leopard." So the keeper, when he listened this thing, he started stammering. Stammering means he was speaking with lots of difficulty. So it meant fumbling, fumble for words. So stammering means he started fumbling. Fumble. He started fumble. It means spoke with difficulty. Spoke with difficulty because it was really, you can say, difficult for him to say this thing. So he started fumbling. He spoke with lots of difficulty. He started stammering. He said that, "Sir, it is not your tiger." Okay. Grandfather said, "I know, I know. I know because he's not longer mine. क्योंकि वो मेरा tiger है ही नहीं है, because I have given him 6 months ago. But that zookeeper told him that you might at least take a suggestion or two from me. Okay. He said that I remember your tiger very well when you gave me your tiger 6 months ago. Okay. I know it very well, but it is really bad thing that your tiger had died 2 months ago. So grandfather, he really got surprised that died. Yes, he died because of pneumonia. Pneumonia is a name of a disease. That is a disease of lungs. Okay, due to, you can say, fever or due to severe cold, one person can get pneumonia. Okay, so this tiger was trapped in the hills only last month, and that is very much dangerous. So this tiger with whom you are, you can say, to whom you are loving, this tiger we have found only from hills last month, and this tiger is very much dangerous. Okay, so grandfather, he really got shocked. He was not able to see any word. Okay, and he was so surprised that he had nothing to say. Okay, and because what action was going on, that unknown tiger, it was still licking the hand of grandfather, and is his relish means the taste, what he was getting by licking his hand, he was just relishing, he was enjoying the taste. Okay, now grandfather took what seemed to him an age to withdraw his hand from the cage. Now he thought that he should take out his hand from the cage because it was not his tiger. Okay, but with his face near the tigers, he mumbled. Okay, but now he did not want to love that tiger because this tiger did not belong to him. But he was so helpless. He took his face near the bars of the cage and he bade him good night, Timothy. He spoke same wording, good night, Timothy, and zookeeper, he was giving him a scornful look. Scornful means hateful look. He was looking at him with lots of hate. So scornful means hateful. That I have told him the truth that this tiger doesn't belong to him. Still, he is loving that tiger. So after that, grandfather, he moved from that zoo so briskly. Briskly means with lots of speed. With speed. Okay. So briskly with speed, you can say quickly, he moved from there. Okay, so this is all about the chapter. Okay, this is very one of the interesting chapter. My students might have enjoyed this. Now my all students should be ready with the question answers that we will be discussing tomorrow, because bell is about to ring. So we will be doing all these question answers tomorrow. So you all should be ready. You should prepare these question answers in rough. You can put tick mark on book, and tomorrow you all should be ready to give me answers, and I would be appreciating all the participants. Now let me take your attendance. Only 23 participants are there. Now the answers of these questions to be discussed tomorrow. Okay.